Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, and most importantly, gamers. It's me, Johnny.
And me, Baron J67.
And you are listening and locked in to the StarCrossed Gamers podcast.
Ooh, ooh. I swear, soundboard.
Now, Baron, good buddy, how you doing?
You know what, man? I'm actually doing pretty good. And I'm not going to lie, I'm so used to doing intros that felt kind of good to sit back and let somebody else do it. Like, I'm not going to lie. I'm hooked now. Now, I think you're going to do all the intros, bro. I might have to sit the back burner on this. You got it. It's yours.
Sounds good to me. We'll let the audience decide. How about that?
Yeah, we'll see how this plays. Watch this be the video to go viral. I'm like, dope. No. But yeah, that was a really good intro, man. Good stuff.
Okay.
Did that on the rip too. But yeah, man, I've been good, bro. I've been gaming. I've been playing RPGs like crazy. Not only when I stream, not only on console, but on my Switch. It's funny how Switch is a console, but I call it a handheld. I feel like it plays best in your hand. That's what she said. But I've been playing like Baldur's Gate, and I didn't realize how deep and heavy that game was, and how hard it is. The D&D mechanics are real in that game. Like, I've sat there, I've had a fight that lasted at least a good 2 minutes of all my characters teamed up on somebody who was probably 2 levels higher than us. So their defense was causing us to critically miss. But then even when we would connect, it wouldn't do any damage because we had all low tier, no +1 weapons or +2 or any. And it was just he was just taking his time mowing through my whole squad. Then
I know how it is.
Yeah, and for those who don't know, when you level up, the way you get experience points on Baldur's Gate is however big your party is, your party gets whatever the XP is. So if you got a full 6-man crew, and you get 250 experience, it's 250 experience spread out amongst 6 people. And now, of course, you can run with a 2 or 3 man and boost your characters, but you're gonna die a lot. And this is the one game I've played where save scumming is almost recommended. Like
no surprise.
I went into all the Steam. It's so hard that I like legit looked up tips and tricks and help me's and guides and every major plot, like no matter what, top 10 tips, 5 tips to survive, it's always spam the save button.
It's the equivalent of holding your. It's remember those Choose Your Own Adventure books? Yes. You would keep your hand on the tip of the last page.
Yes, bro. I've died so much it's not even funny. But no lie, I'm hooked, and it's crazy. It really is. Like, I knew it was a Dungeons and Dragons. For those who didn't understand what D&D meant, I knew it was a D&D experience, but I didn't realize to the extent. Like, it really is a virtual Dungeons and Dragons. Like, hey, you guys went to sleep because you have to rest, but then the dice rolled and you woke up and you were surrounded by 8 freaking level 5 skeletons.
Oh, it did you dirty.
Oh, bro, I've been like absolutely raided by all types of everything from kobolds to freaking half ogres. Like it's silly, but I absolutely love it.
Now, if I may interject, speaking of Baldur's Gate and Dungeons and Dragons, the two of us and a friend of ours have all been playing another game that has dungeons.
Yes.
It has references to dragons.
Yes.
And you level up your character.
Heavily.
Now, the game we're talking about, Elder Scrolls Online.
Elder
Folks,
Scrolls.
what a game.
Look, guys. I'm absolutely in love with this game. Elder Scrolls Online ESO. It scratched that itch that I felt Skyrim couldn't hold my attention too long. Oblivion did a great job of it. I didn't feel that same issue with Oblivion, but for some reason, I think we've come to the conclusion. And I'm not bashing Skyrim. I think Skyrim was truly made for everybody. If that makes sense, is that a fair point?
Yeah, Morrowind and Oblivion, the two previous Elder Scrolls titles before Skyrim, they were gamers' games. You know, they were pretty nerdy.
Yeah, they were heavy
to,
duty role playing.
Like each skill had stats, and each skill had like parent stats that you had to look over. It had all that, and then Skyrim did away with everything, and you just leveled up individuals' perks or skills, and you gained perks, and that was it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was dumbed down.
Yeah, and I remember walking through the lands of Morrowind, jumping, just to boost my acrobat. Oh, yeah. Even in Oblivion too, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I remember running around jumping just to boost my acrobatic stat. Now, do I ever remember really utilizing it to that extent? I don't remember because I was younger, and I probably should go back and play it. But I do know I did everything in my power. I would use daggers. I would use, heavy weapons. I'd wear heavy armor and go fight a low tier creature to boost my heavy armor stat. Like, I would build spells and see spells that worked and see if I could boost my my alteration skill enough to where I could levitate and basically turn into a superhero in Morrowind. Like,
oh yeah,
and that was all without mods because I never played any of the PC versions of these games. So that was just straight base game, me taking the time, creating a low level spell that I could cast over and over just to build like a real experience. Like, I was dove into the world. I was like, okay, what way can I train this? Either I could take a fireball and make it the strongest I can cast and cast one-off fireballs, boost my stat that way, or I can lower it and cast 1,000,000 of them out there shooting them off like it's Dragon Ball Z and then boost my stat that way. And it really, really, it took a lot. Now, rolling this over in the ESO, before I go too far off topic, ESO is scratching that same itch for me. I'm going out spending hours not completing any quest, collecting iron, collecting pelts, collecting jute, all of these different fabrics just to go and spend 5 minutes crafting it all away and deconstructing it and then crafting what I have left and then deconstructing that and then selling whatever is left. And all of that, but what's crazy is I'm rank 4 in blacksmithing, almost rank 5. I'm rank 6 in creating in Leatherworks, I believe it's called. And then I'm like a level 3 cook or something like that. And then I have an ability, I think I have like 4 woodworking. I'm like level 2 in woodworking because I barely found out there's that. And then I'm like alchemy level whatever, and then I found an enchanter's table and I've been enchanting with that. And I'm hooked. I'm legit hooked. Like, I want to go in. I have extra stat points that I have not assigned, simply saving for my crafting, so that when I hit the proper level, because there's an ability I want, and I got to be level 6 in smithing. So I'm waiting until our level 5, and I'm waiting until I hit that level, and then I already got points allocated and ready to put into those abilities and stats that I want. And already got little minions that are hirelings that are out collecting every day. So I do need to jump in and check the game. And I should have checked it yesterday. So do they do it regardless of you being there every day? Or
I believe so, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, I hope so. I've been missing my daily rewards. I haven't checked in like a couple days. I feel so stupid now. I'm sad.
Now, it's really good to get your testimonial about your Elder Scrolls experience, because the game is about let's see here, about 6 years old now, and getting into it now is pretty good because there's a whole bunch of quality of life improvements that have taken place since launch. There have been multiple DLCs. I mean, heck, one of them is even free to play now, which is really good. Too bad it's a PvP one, but I digress. And just for some context, I have played the game quite a lot. I didn't get it quite at launch, but a little bit after launch, maybe less than a year. And I am a real on and off player. I have not played it at all consistently, except for the last time I played it for about a month straight. And I was into the PvP. I wasn't really good, but I was there nonetheless. Got to be Emperor, which was fun. I got to chill with a guild. They, I have my disagreements with a few of the other leaders, but you know what? They aren't even playing anymore. I checked, so it's fine.
So what is the thing you enjoy most about ESO?
The thing I enjoy, the single aspect of the game I appreciate the most is the background and the setting. So basically, it's the game takes place in the middle of the Second Era, and it's a three-way war for emperorship. You got your Daggerfall Covenant, the good guys. You got the Ebonheart Pact, the bad guys, and the Aldmeri Dominion, who are the elves. I mean, we already know they're bad guys.
Okay, folks. So he's a little biased on this, and it's understandable. Like, I get it. Give the people a little background. Because if I'm not mistaken, do the Ebonheart and Daggerfall, do they basically form into one? Because in the current games that I can think of, because I'm not a lore master at all when it comes to this universe, but what I do know is that the only one I know is still around is the Aldmeri Dominion, the elves.
Yeah. So I'm a huge lore guy. I would probably qualify to be a lore master if I ever tried, but so this is the Second Era, and the Aldmeri the Aldmeri Dominion. This is considered the first Dominion, and in Skyrim, the Aldmeri Dominion you hear about is like the third or fourth.
Yeah, but they're still around.
Yeah, it's the same gist, but just run by different people.
Gotcha.
In this one, in ESO's Dominion, they're kind of more towards the good side of the spectrum. They're not full on elven supremacy zealots. They're just kind of they see that they are the more mature species on the continent, and they're trying to preserve peace or whatever. But in Skyrim, which takes place in the Fourth Era, which is I don't know how many actual years, but 2 eras later, that Aldmeri Dominion is just the
tyrants,
elf zealots.
Yeah.
And to go to the other factions, the Daggerfall Covenant and the Ebonheart Pact, they just dissolve.
Yeah, because I want to say I haven't heard those names until once again. Yeah, exactly. Because that only one that actually I knew about was the Aldmeri Dominion, and that's only because they're still around. And that it's isn't that kind of like a negative? Like, it kind of tells, because we already know what's gonna happen. Like,
yeah,
like it's not like, hey, we're gonna switch it up and everything you know in Skyrim, we're gonna retcon it because Skyrim timeline wise is the most recent, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What's going on around the world of Tamriel around that time?
During ESO's time or Skyrim's?
During Skyrim.
The time period of Skyrim is that the Empire just had a huge war, the Great War, even, with the Aldmeri Dominion. It was
Okay.
basically a stalemate, but the Dominion claimed they won, and they signed the White Gold Treaty, and there was a bunch of demands, but basically, the Dominion, it was kind of like an uprising. They weren't like independent, so basically the Aldmeri Dominion was fully independent now. Hammerfell had to leave because the Altmeri Dominion wanted Hammerfell territory, and the Red Guard said no. So they basically have to fight them on their own now. And Skyrim is in this period of civil war, and no ending is canon in terms of if they remain loyal or independent. And other than that, it is heavily implied that there will be a second Great War, right around the corner, because the reason the Civil War is even allowed to take place in Skyrim to begin with is because all of the actual Legion, the military, it's all on the Altmeri border. So basically, the troops you see in Skyrim that are Imperials, those are basically just local Nord conscripts. They sent in the general to try and rally the troops there and take on the Stormcloaks. So it's basically just a Nord on Nord thing.
Yeah, it makes sense now. That actually explains a lot. You know what else? You know what else is really creepy? Hearing what you just said about how the Red Guards in Hammerfell, that everybody believes that the next Elder Scrolls is going to be in Hammerfell.
Yeah, it's going to take place in the Iliac region, although the exact province is unsure yet. They say it could be like the Wayrest region of High Rock, which is right on the bay, or in northern Hammerfell.
And that's what everybody who broke down the video and basing it because it was coastal. And the video we're talking about, folks, is the actual
or the teaser.
Yeah, the official
trailer.
Teaser. Which all it did was scroll over a region and say Elder Scrolls. But it was enough to make me happy and sad at the same time because
they told us they're working on it.
Yeah. I wonder. My greatest fear for that is that all the bad and distasteful non-Bethesda thingies that have been going on as of recent, I feel like all the things we don't like the Creation Club, the microtransaction. Not only is it microtransactions, but it's like $20 real for an in-game item type thing. And I know I'm exaggerating, but probably not too much. I feel like we're gonna get a lot of that in the new Elder Scrolls, and I think the big test of whether or not I'm wrong, which I do hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong. I don't want to be right about this. And I think the Starfield game is going to be the big proof in the pudding. Because you got to think, up to this point, they've been riding high on remakes and butchering people's pockets with 76.
And the seventh release of Skyrim on your toaster.
Yeah, well, remember that joke, the whole Alexa thing, but then it was real. You could really play Skyrim on your Alexa. Like, you can talk through a text adventure of Skyrim on your damn Alexa. And it's wild. And then the mobile game and the blades. It's weird. Like, it's like watching... It was like watching the Konami downfall. Like, here it is. Oh, okay. Well, the Metal Gear Solid series. So you had all that greatness, and then all of a sudden, Konami, I believe it was Konami. Yeah, I don't want to butcher it, but they kind of they went to pachinko games. Like it just slowly turned into chaos and ultimate profit, like 500% hand over fist. I want to make a million bazillion instead of just a million. Like, and you just ruin the spirit of something that exists and that already had a good fan base and would have lasted a lifetime. Thank God for Kojima going off on his own, Hideo Kojima, and doing his own thing, Death Stranding, and which I still have in the plastic right here. But I really want them to win, man. I want them to win, and I want it to win not because of microtransactions. I want it to win in a way that it gets the love that they've received over the years and brings back that spark and doesn't remake a game 10 times over. And we do live in a post Grand Theft Auto 5 era, so who knows, you know. Like I'm really ready for the announcement of GTA 5 on Xbox Series X and PlayStation 5. Likely. I'm so ready for it.
But you know, before we get too far from the Elder Scrolls 6 thing, I would like to just have my opinion out in the open and say I'm actually going to differ from you, Baron. It's kind of rare, but I'm rather optimistic about Elder Scrolls 6.
Okay.
And here's why. If we look back at Fallout 4, that was the very first instance of the Creation Club.
True.
And all it was basically cosmetics and a few items. Now, of course, they, upgraded that in 76, but we have to keep in mind that Fallout 4 was a strictly single-player game, and Fallout 76 is a multiplayer game, which we come to expect, with multiplayer games having more microtransactions. That's true. Because, they have to maintain servers and they got to keep the revenue coming in. So that's understandable. I mean, I'm not saying it's right, but I'm saying I understand it.
Understand it. Got you.
Elder Scrolls 6, that's going to be a single-player game, to my knowledge, because they already have ESO. They don't need to make another Elder Scrolls experience, multiplayer experience. So, and plus they know people are not a huge fan of the Creation Club. So, I think, me being optimistic, I think it's, of course, going to have DLC. And if they do have microtransactions, I think it's going to be more like Fallout 4's, where it's going to be like, outfits, maybe a cool sword or two. And I think they ended up putting like a quest in the Creation Club but it was all mods. Like it was like a user submitted.
Yeah, you got to go back
quest
to Fallout 3,
DC.
to GNR Radio.
It was made by a fan, and they just liked it enough to put it up there. So, that's my take. I'm gonna stay optimistic on that one.
And like I said, man, I hope I'm absolutely wrong. I do not want to be right. I want Bethesda to crank a home run with the next few titles they release. Actually, didn't they announce that they're going to be at E3?
Unfortunately, I don't keep up with that.
I believe so. I know a lot of people kind of fell out of E3. Like, I want to say Sony is not going to be at E3, which is weird. Oh,
yeah, I remember. I think it probably was Sony, but I remember a big company pulling out of E3.
Yeah,
to go do their own thing.
Yeah, Sony PlayStation pulling out of E3 2020, and Bethesda confirmed that they will be at E3 2020. And
let's just hope they keep Todd Howard far away from that presentation.
Well, not only that, I hope that we get gameplay preview of Starfield. Let me tell. I know we're kind of shooting ahead, but I just got to put it out there. I need gameplay for Starfield. I need them to completely avoid, even though I know they're going to talk about Blades, I need them to avoid Blades. I need them not to announce another ESO release. DLC.
I need them to. So I think we'll be fine.
You would think, bro, their last E3 presentation was crap. Outside of the teasers for Elder Scrolls and or was that the year before where they teased Elder Scrolls? No, it was last year where they teased Elder Scrolls and they teased Starfield. I need them to show nothing but new stuff and then get off the stage. All this big performance to show me games that have been out for who knows how long is. I feel like E3 is not the place to do that.
Yeah. I do remember the ESO teaser being right before they talked about 76, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, and there you go. 76 has been at E3 for the last, 3 E3s, if not 4?
Oh, I
for sure. I want to say 3.
but I think we'll be free of ESO content because they've announced this newest DLC for ESO. It's going to be in Skyrim. It's vampires again.
Mm-hmm.
Vampires in Skyrim. I wonder where they got that. But they had a big announcement, like live stream on Twitch, I think, or some other platform, and they've been hammering it everywhere. So I think we may be fine. But ultimately, I could be wrong. That could be like the flagship thing they talk about.
Yeah, and that would really break my spirits. And that's just me personally. I feel like a place like E3, and we're of course jumping off topic, but we'll get back to ESO. But jumping off, like, E3 should be the one place you go to show stuff that you've been trying to keep under wraps. It shouldn't be to double down on what already exists.
Yeah, it's built to create hype.
Yeah, and how can you create hype for a game that's been out for, which it's still possible, because I seen the intro, the trailer for the Daggerfall. It looks dope. Like that whole fight scene with all the vampires and the dude with the axe, like it was dope. Like I'm not against it, but it just give me a new IP. I feel like if you don't have a new IP or a game changing DLC, I don't think you should go to E3 and stand on that stage and hype me up, have me waiting in line or waiting in front of my screen just to tell me about a mobile game and just to tell me you got new DLC coming out. It'd been cheaper for you to just do a YouTube release.
Yeah, that's probably true. Or at least just preface it beforehand, like, listen, unfortunately, there's no new titles, no new IPs. Well, but we still have plenty to talk about if you're still interested.
Thank you. Be honest with me. Like, this is the one time I really just be honest. Just tell me, hey guys, like you just said. And I wouldn't be as bothered because of course I'm still gonna watch it. But it just these last couple of E3s, man, for Bethesda, I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay, all right.
Oh, it's more 76.
Yeah, and I'm not a 76 hater. I don't ever want to be like just an outright hater of anything, because there's people out there who truly enjoy it. You know what I mean? Like, they're loving. I know a guy who's on Twitter. He's like, that's his whole community is Fallout 76. Like, that's his whole everything, and that's dope. I'm glad you found something you can truly enjoy. It don't hurt me. It don't hurt anybody. You're enjoying yourself, and that's what it's all about. But at the same time, I don't like predatory practices on any level, in any genre, in anything. Like, don't charge people $100 for something that you know damn well you should have put in there day one.
Oh man,
like that. Come on. And then what bothers me is you got a large because and we had this talk off, not recording. Basically, they're banking on their current fan base, and then they're hoping to get more people with all the new updates that I think were coming up, or I didn't look too much into it.
Yeah, they just want more people to come back and redo their subscriptions.
And I think it's an evil thing, but funny thing is, ESO is such a successful thing that's already running. Like, even if they just reskinned it, like, that wouldn't have been too bad. And I will say, technically, like visually and whatnot, I would say that it's Fallout 76 when it's running great, it looks better. But it's kind of hard to compare because ESO is, I guess, it's cartoony and fantasy. Yeah. While Fallout is more rooted in reality with monsters and whatnot. But it's more like real life environment. Our current day environment. Well, not. Yeah, you know what I'm saying.
It's like comparing a castle to, like, the downtown.
There you
DC.
Go. Thank you. There you go. That's the phrase. I didn't know how else to explain it. So, at this point in time, what do you think ESO is missing? And what do you think ESO could go without, like, right now?
Oof, that's a bit of a tough one. I
Yeah, I mean,
think
spice it up.
I know. I think they're working on it as time goes on. But I think that what they should do right now is have this huge update. I mean, you can charge for it if you want to. It doesn't matter. But because as you've seen, and if you go online to the like a ESO world map, whatever, you'll notice that uh, the overall map is the whole continent. Now you can't go from one place to another without loading screens or whatever. It's all like different zones, but there's huge chunks of the map still missing. And every DLC they're adding like a new section you can go play in, which is great. But I think that what they could do is that they could just fill in the rest of these regions now. Like they don't have to do like a huge DLC in each region. Like they don't have to go quiet for like 2 years to make this happen. They can just design it, right? Maybe add in one or two repeatable quests or somewhere, and then just throw it out. I like to explore the game, like the scenery and backgrounds and stuff.
Got you.
So I just want to travel around and see like these new continents, not continents, provinces.
That's fair. Cause
Like oh sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off here, but
yeah.
I just wanted to get this in real quick. I think with the exception of Elder Scrolls 1, all the way back, Arena, ESO is the first game to let you set foot on the Somerset Isles, which up to this point has only been talked about. It's supposed to be like this beautiful like paradise. Well, not like a tropical paradise, but like it's supposed to be like an alien, not alien either, but it's different. It's unique. It's supposed to be like so beautiful and exquisite and elegant and crap like that. And then they let you be there, which I thought was great. So they just need to do that with the rest of the continent, and then just add the actual DLC stuff later.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
And you know what? Even if they did some type of, I guess procedural generation would be kind of complicated to some extent. But if No Man's Sky can do it, I think Bethesda can do it. Even if you just had regions like, hey, anytime you step in this area, it's going to be this type of climate. It's going to be these type of monsters, and you can find this type of loot. Like, if you go into the Skyrim region, you're going to see snow, you're going to see mountains, and you're going to see trolls. Like you're going to catch Nord bandits. Like, that'd be dope. And and it would be cool to be able to walk from one end of Tamriel to the other. That'd be really dope. Now, of course, I get it. It is, but we're on PC here, or we're running it's an MMO. Yeah. So it's an MMO. You've got time under your belt. You don't have to create mega cities and giant centers and large. Just, I get what you're saying. I agree with you. Now, what do you think it would go without?
Oh, I think obvious. I mean, if you look at any MMO. It could be Elder Scrolls Online, it could be Star Wars The Old Republic, it could be any of them. They really need to cut back on these, all these, constant new, outfits and swords and, little microtransactions crap. I legit do not have any clue if these people are actually buying it. Now, I tweeted about this once, and I'll just sum it up here. Think about how much time and effort goes into all these outfits. Probably like a couple days, truth be told. But
yeah,
how many outfits?
That's a lot of man hours.
How many outfits? How many new mounts? How many different swords have they made over the course of this game's lifespan? Add that up. They probably could have made at least a couple more DLCs at it with that time and effort.
I agree.
And you can get more people to pay for these things too, because I don't have the actual numbers on this, but I am pretty sure that more people buy I don't know, however much it is, like $15, $30 DLCs, as opposed to the 128 $3 outfits.
I'm a say no. I'm a differ on that point, only because look at Fortnite. What is it, like $3 or $4 skins? I don't know how much it costs.
Yeah.
I want to say I might even say it's 5, but more people. I could see people nickel and diamond. Like it's easier for a kid to ask for $5 than it is for a kid to ask for 40.
Yeah.
Even though that 40 is probably only going to be all they need for a good 6 months, when they probably ask for $5 2 or 3 times a week.
I would argue that Fortnite and MMO is not strictly an MMO though.
Very true.
It's just
Very
like
true.
a battle royale. And like you said, like the skins are pretty much the only microtransactions in that game.
Very true.
And just to reiterate, I think generally speaking, in an MMO setting, more people are more likely to buy the DLCs.
True.
And which they can charge more for. And I think that less people buy the cheaper DLCs, the cheaper microtransactions. But they seem to spam them out.
Yeah.
I don't know how. I've never seen people actually walking around with these things.
Like they just created a new familiar, I think, too. Which honestly, that kind of bothers me. I don't like non-combat familiars. That was always weird to me.
Yeah, I mean,
they're not even mounts.
Like, yeah, I do know that they added 2 classes behind paywalls, but that's added after the fact. I can see that. But I would just say maybe don't put it on the class selection screen if you don't have the DLC.
Yeah, little stuff like that. But then I get the marketing behind it, like, hey, you could have this cool character type if you pay $20.99. I just for me, what I enjoy most, right, or what I would like to see is I wouldn't mind a little more Skyrim combat in terms of like connecting with weapons and attacks, and they do pretty good with the blocking. I'm not gonna lie, the blocking feels right. It's like, hey, if you time it right and you block just right, they're gonna be dazed. Feels good. I'm not completely against it. To be honest, it does feel like the perfect marriage of Oblivion and Skyrim. Like if I wanted, like, the attacks feel like they hit, but at the same time you are mashing a button hoping that you're connecting and then the character dies. To this, being honest.
And it's not super foreign either. I mean, you still
it's
have your
MMO.
basic attacks, your power attacks, and different spells.
Exactly. That's why it's just me being like trying to be picky. And then I wish. So what do I want to go away? I wish you didn't have to Go ahead.
Go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, I was saying I really wish I didn't have to constantly look at a mission.
That's legit what I was about to say.
Yeah.
We don't need to have an active quest 24/7.
Yeah, I really wish that wasn't like completely necessary. Let me roam around, or let me make my resource finding my active mission. Like, oh, you're looking for iron. Like here it is. That's actually another thing I'm real happy about is the farming doesn't feel ridiculous. I don't feel like I'm like shooting myself in the foot running around trying to find stuff. I wish I got a little more experience for kills.
Yeah, I think that's just
because they really push you to do missions.
Well,
if you want to level up.
Yeah, quests are like the bulk of your XP. But I would just remind that, where I don't know where you are. I think you're still in Stros Mackay, right?
Yes, I just got off the ship.
But yeah, each region, even though it's all like any level, anytime, so you could be level 1 and still go to like the last region, or it used to be the last, and still like, take names there. But if I'm not mistaken, they kept the XP the same. So the starter island's going to do less less XP than like the normal dudes in the final region. So I think gradually it's gonna increase as you progress. But I see what you mean. Add a little bit more XP for kills. That's fine. Yeah. You can do that.
Especially if you're farming. Like if I'm out there looking for a specific item, if I'm out there hunting for iron to craft, I'm not doing a mission. I should be able, because I am going to have to kill stuff along the way. And this is just a personal gripe for me, because these are the issues I'm running into, is I'm spending all this time farming to collect the loot, but as I'm farming, I'm not getting a respectable amount of XP from the kills along my journey of farming, which, in my opinion, if I kill so many level whatever raiders in a certain area, I think I'm not saying I should level up after 30 minutes of farming, but it should be more than 62 XP per kill when they're offering like 1,500 for a basic quest. Like you get 1,500 XP for doing a fetch quest, but yet I'm only getting 30 to 50 experience per kill on just running around.
I mean, there's a happy middle ground. They have daily crafting quests.
Oh, see, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I don't know if the item is randomized, but I'm pretty sure you can craft items within your crafting abilities. You turn it in, and you get a bunch of golden XP.
Oh, see, well, learn something new, and that's another thing too. But when it comes to MMOs, it's for one. It's not a bad thing having so much to do, because that's why you play an MMO. I don't know too many people who play MMOs to have low amount of missions and not a bunch of fetch quests and not a bunch of items to collect and this and that. Like, you jump on an MMO to be busy. That's
you know what you're signing up for.
Yeah, that's the point. So knowing that this has a healthy amount and the fact that I'm not bored in any level yet, and then the fact that I haven't really played much of the game, to be honest. Like, I don't think I'm nowhere near finishing the original storyline. And I'm having a absolute blast. It's fun. I'm really taking on the mantle of crafter, enchanter, rogue, assassin. I really want to be that top tier. Like, oh, what do you need? You need ebony armor. What? Okay, give me the material, and I'll make it. You can actually earn a lot of gold that way. Like, there will always be people in the game that are like, hey, can somebody help me craft this? Yep.
So yeah, there's the in-game stuff, but there's like a huge service market for that.
That's what I'm saying. Because especially in this game. Now, if this was Skyrim, I'd have probably maxed out a lot of my crafting by now.
50 iron daggers.
Yeah, 50 iron daggers, baby. And then you break them down, and then you smelt them again, and you trade. Like, yeah. But no, with this, you have to work. Like, as many hours as I put into the game and as many hours I put into crafting, the fact that I'm not in the second tier of being able to blacksmith says a lot. And you've been on with me. I've crafted a lot of great swords, a lot of axes, a lot of pants, and a lot of tunics. I've crafted a lot, and I'm still not ranked. I believe I'm not ranked 5 yet, because I want to say rank 5 is the new tier.
And just to give anybody that just so happens to play Elder Scrolls Online some context, he is currently level 12, and he is still on the island of Betnik. We're both Daggerfall guys, so he's on Betnik. Or you said he got off the ship, so maybe you're in Glenumbra.
Yeah, I'm with the ogres. I mean the orcs.
Okay, yeah. He's in Betnik. And just for some context, I have beaten the game completely for Daggerfall. I haven't even touched the other factions because screw them. And the highest I've gotten is champion point 150. Now I know it goes up to 810, but I mean, come on, I can't play that much.
Man. I've been busted for stealing in the game.
Oh, that happens, so no worries.
Yeah. I was looting, and it's funny because it's not even like I was looting to go sell and make a profit. I was literally looting so I could break it down, so I can boost my stats, so I can get more material, so that's what I'll do.
That's how you do it.
Yeah, I'll farm as much as I can until I feel like I'm getting bored, and then I'll grab that material, go and craft it, and then I'll break it all down and then craft whatever I got left, break that down and keep crafting until I hit a zero sum. And then it's just boop. And I'll sell whatever is left and then get back to it. And and then there's fishing. And if you guys know anything about me gaming wise, I've already caught the legendary fish in the first area. Or the rare, or I don't know if exotic.
Yeah, it's like,
yeah,
I don't know. Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, already caught that. So now I'm on a quest to catch all the fish in all the areas because I didn't even know that was a thing. But now that I know, it's a wrap. That's where I'm going. But yeah. So what other MMOs do you play or have you put a lot of hours into?
I don't play it so much these days, but I have certainly put in my fair amount of time in Star Wars: The Old Republic, which is the Star Wars MMO. It is, I mean, it's an MMO, so it's not that much different. You know, you have your repeating quests, you have your different classes, and etc., etc. But man, it really captivates Star Wars. Like, you got your Jedi, you got your Sith, you got your run-of-the-mill bounty hunters, you got your soldiers, you got everything. It's a great game.
There you go. Do you think that it's better than Galaxies? Because I know you were able to jump into Galaxies for a bit.
Oh yeah, it's far better. I mean, maybe it's just because it's an older game and I didn't play it in its prime, but I got pretty bored, quit it pretty quickly.
Gotcha. But Galaxies is bigger though, huh?
Well, maybe not these days.
No, not people wise. I'm talking about size,
like regions and such. Yeah. I'm pretty sure Star Wars: The Old Republic is caught up, but I knew Galaxies has like 5 planets.
Oh, okay.
And they each had one huge map. Like there's like different cities that acted like hubs, but like the whole planet, or like a huge portion of the planet was open to you.
Got it.
And I know you have experience with a different MMO. That's, I think, was in beta testing.
Yes. Folks, he's talking about Bless Unleashed. Now, this game, shout out to Noise. Much love to you guys for giving me the opportunity, and Bandai for giving me the opportunity. I don't know if I have to say it, but it was a paid experience for me to play the Bless Unleashed beta. And I had a lot of fun playing it. The combat, it felt more like an action RPG than an MMO combat. It wasn't so much just press this one button over and over until the person dies, and then here's a button for skills. No, there was combos. You had like there was combo chains that, depending on your class, you got different types of combo chains. There was 5 classes, I believe: a healer, a cleric, a sorcerer, a ranger, a templar, or a berserker, or something like that. I want to say it was 5. And I stuck with the I believe it was a Templar or a Knight. I don't know what their title was.
Yeah, it was a tank. You had a melee DPS, a ranged DPS, a mage, which was of course DPS, and then you had your healer.
I absolutely loved the game. I'm waiting for the official release. Hopefully it comes out sometime soon. But what I like most about it was, once again, the crafting. I'm a big crafter. That's always something I take joy in. I think it's just because it keeps you so busy, and there's such an end point, and there's so much to do to get to that end point that it gives you like a North Star type thing. Because otherwise you can get washed up. It's a lot to do in the game. Just in any MMO, there's a lot going on, a lot to do. You could easily just feel overwhelmed. But for me, crafting leads me through a path of ranking up through combat. It leads me through ranking up and building up funds because I'm selling everything I make. And it's like a 3-in-1. You level up, you level up through crafting, you level up through combat to collect the materials to craft, and then you build up your funds because you're selling things. L4, then you get your skills up. So just following that train of crafting, you get a lot done, and it's entertaining. And then it's cool to be able to turn a basic sword into a god tier sword, and I've done that on Blessed. Took a basic blade or an advanced blade and took it up to epic just by collecting and farming the material needed. So I'm running around with better weapon. I got a sword that's doing like 800 damage, but I'm only level whatever, low level, but my equipment's doing top tier damage. MMO wise, it's a great one.
Yeah, I was just gonna add that I also played the beta, although I didn't have to pay for it. I think it was open. I think you just got like a longer trial or whatever. I don't know.
Oh no, I didn't pay for it. I got paid to play it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It was a paid experience. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm sorry, but what was I gonna say? All right. For people that have played Elder Scrolls Online, I got very similar Elder Scrolls Online vibes, with the only difference being the combat system, as he pointed out. So, if you like Elder Scrolls Online and you're looking for something a little bit different, you can give Blessed a try next time it goes into beta or when it releases.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. Because recently I've been playing Elder ESO. And then not too long ago, I did play Bless Unleashed. And then the map is huge.
Oh, yeah, it is a huge map.
It took me a good 20 minutes, if not more, to get from the starting area up to where they were doing a lot of stress tests in the game. And they were like doing major boss battles with everybody in the servers.
Oh yeah, huge world bosses.
Yeah, huge world bosses, like fights that took real world hour just to beat. And it took me at least 20 to 30 minutes to get to that area. Now, of course, I was riding a Billy Goat mount, which is probably the slowest mount on there. But still, just the fact that it took that much time to traverse that much area. It's a big map. Like, it's big. And then of course, I was collecting loot along the way. Came back home with like freaking gold ores and stuff that I have no business owning. And I got a bunch of it. Who knows what I'm gonna do with it? Probably sell it. But you have to earn everything. You have to earn your inventory slots. You got to go out and collect bag pieces in order to increase your bag. So I think it's like every 7, either 3, 4, or 7 for some reason. I can't remember what number. 3. There you go. You got to collect 3 bag pieces in order to increase your loot capacity by 1. Thank God there's not a weight capacity because I'd be screwed. And then you got even your safe, your like character safe inventory, like banker type thing. Even that has limited slots that you can increase. And I just hope they don't like microtransaction that out too bad. I could see them getting pretty predatory with that. Like, hey, you need more spots? Here, $10 and you can have 20 more slots. Like I could see them getting real aggressive with that, figuring out that that's a thing that people are really gonna need, especially for people who craft like me. I need all the space I can get, and that's something even in ESO I run into a lot. I run into the whole problem of needing to go sell something or drop something in order to craft something else because I need extra space.
Yeah, you can buy like a next interval of 10 for an incremental increase in gold. But I think like the first one's only like 500 gold or like 1,000 gold, so it's not too bad.
Oh, see, I didn't know that. That's not bad.
Mm-hmm.
That's not
And
bad
then I
at
just wanted to point out the one gripe I had with Blessed Unleashed was the story. I mean, maybe it's just MMO syndrome where you just skip through the story. It just wasn't that interesting to me.
You know what? The beginning caught my attention, like the training area. I thought that was a pretty dope intro and how it all went down. But it was pretty basic, like Chosen One syndrome. You know, the whole world's coming down on you because you're the last of something. And but I get what you're saying. I like the way they did it. They could have it could have been cheesy or cheesier, but I'm not expecting like world breaking stories from MMOs.
Yeah, it's not the game to be looking for it. And I'm just saying that, like, you know, Star Wars: The Old Republic and ESO, those stories caught me. Maybe it's just because I'm a fan of those two franchises, but you know, it's just me. I'm just throwing my opinion out there.
No, that's understandable because I do get it. Like, it's funny we're getting into the last minutes, but when I think of getting drained lore wise or getting tired of something, that's how I kind of fell off with Assassin's Creed. I know we're jumping big jump, but I started getting a little burnt with the whole story because I felt like you would think they answered the question and then the next game would tell you what you knew, you know nothing now, and like build on top of something as if the previous one didn't really exist. And then they like almost got rid of the animus completely, and then that was the whole thing. And then it was almost like they kept hinting at a modern Assassin's Creed coming out, but then no, it just. And Black Flag is still one of the best ones. That was so.
Oh yeah, I have some serious gripes with Assassin's Creed, but you know what? We're gonna have to save that for the next episode.
Yep, folks. This has been great. If you've made it to this point and you hear my voice, please subscribe because you've listened to a lot and we talked about a lot and likes and ums, and you should really subscribe if you can make it this far.
I would also just like to point out that the Good Baron here, this is his YouTube channel. Go ahead, subscribe. He, of course, has a Twitch of the same name. You can catch a whole bunch of live streams. You can catch Fallen Order. Currently, that's the game he's playing. You could be watching some Elder Scrolls Online content or something else. It really depends.
And then follow me on Caffeine.
Caffeine as well, yes. That's also
I've been streaming on Caffeine. Yeah, I'm trying it out. Caffeine is so new. So final minute, Caffeine is so new that if you go on YouTube, and we'll talk about it off stream, I haven't counted 100 videos about it.
Yeah.
That's scary. Like, this is a world of everybody making a video about everything.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that something that's been out for as long as it's been, there's not, there's 1.5 million videos on how to do this on Twitch, how to blah, 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 how to blah, blah, blah. Check this out, blah, blah, blah. Not at all for Caffeine. Maybe I'm just not typing in the right keywords, but usually that's never an issue with the magical world of Google and YouTube. Usually that algorithm picks it up pretty quick and it just slaps it in front of you.
Yeah, that's just more of a popularity thing, though.
True. Very true.
And then just finally, I would just like to point out that Baron here, he has a what is it? He has a TikTok account, BaronJ67 over there. He has a Twitter.
Yes.
Go ahead and follow that. That's right. I also have a Twitter at galactic_squire.
Yep.
And
really
thank you. And that's pretty much everything to plug. Aside from his other podcast channel, Adventure of the Black Nerds, go check that out.
Folks, Johnny is hired. He's hired. I couldn't have said it better myself, and I'm just shut up. Much love. Peace.
Peace out, everybody.